All right, so now that you have become a bodybuilder, you know, you're a bodybuilder at this point, right? You
Right.
live that lifestyle. Like, how was the transition? You know, like, most people, they don't realize the work. They just think, oh, I'm going to do a show.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm going to get up there. I'm going to compete. Like, how was it for you? What did
Oh,
you
it
think?
was way different. I mean, from the first show that I saw, like that I went to and like watched it in person, way different. Because you think, oh, I could easily do that.
Yeah.
But then you don't understand the groundwork that goes into it.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? You got to bulk, then you got to cut.
Yeah.
Then you're like really dialing down the nutrition, right? Like every gram, every ounce, every chicken, like every piece of like grain of rice.
Yeah.
You know?
So it just takes your fitness to the next level, right?
Oh, it's very like you're meticulous. I mean, everything counts,
Yeah.
right? It's like you go over, you know, on the food, then that might be the difference.
Yeah, that's for sure. Especially because you compete at the national level. So the guys at that level are just so much better, right? You go to your
Oh, yeah.
local show, you can go to any show and anybody
Yeah.
could be anybody. Like, you could honestly be a guy that's worked out for 4 or 5 months, go to a NPC show and you can win just depending on who shows up.
Yeah.
You get to nationals, it's
Oh,
a whole
there's
different ballgame.
Yeah, there's levels for sure.
Yeah.
And you can tell the guys that have been doing it for years,
Yeah.
right? Maybe it's like their 5th time doing this.
Yeah.
And you don't know that until you go and talk to these guys, right? Like, it's very rare that someone's going to go there first time, get their pro card, call it a day.
Yeah,
It just doesn't work like
You have
that.
to have crazy genetics, you know. Even for me, I competed. I did 7 or 8 shows before I even went to nationals to compete at that level. Luckily, I got it my first try, but
Right.
I had to do so many shows
Right.
to be able to get myself ready to be able to compete
Oh,
at
for
that
sure.
level.
I mean,
'Cause
that's
the guys
stage
are nuts.
time.
Yeah,
you know,
stage time.
the stage time, like no one really talks about that is the time that you're on stage shows when you go at that national level. They'll know if you're like, this is his first time. Then you see the guys that are seasoned, posing's on point, their confidence is there, they smile,
Yep.
the numbers are in the right spot,
Yep.
every little thing, right? Because you don't think about these things until you go there, and then they give you the feedback after. Dude, you got to change your number. If you're posing this way, put the number this way.
Yep.
The judges don't want to be telling you to change,
Yep.
put your number
and they'll
mid
know
round.
right then, like what you just said, they'll know by you not having your number at the right spot that you're just not one of the vets or the one that's showing up
Yeah,
all the
you're
time,
definitely
right?
a rookie.
Yeah, you're a rookie. And so they're not going to give you that look that they would give somebody else.
For sure.
Right? And at the end of the day, that's what you want. You want the judges to be on, you want them to look at you and not take their eyes off of you.
For sure.
So I think that that's the biggest thing as far as just making sure your posing's on point, making sure that, you know, that stage presence there, you're smiling. See a lot of guys get up there and they're mean mugging you. I always tell people, like, put yourself in a judge's position, right?
Right.
If you're judging yourself, do you want to, and 2 guys are very close, are you going to take the guy who's smiling and having a good time or the guy who's kind of mean mugging and it looks like it's his first time up there, right?
Right.
So
That's true.
I
Or
told-
he's uncomfortable,
yeah.
right? Or it's like, he's miserable, he doesn't want to be here. But make it look effortless if you can. You
Yeah.
know, it's not an easy thing, but
So let me ask you another question is, how do you feel like your life has changed as far as, yes, the food and things like that, but let's say like dating wise, right? Is that a hard thing to do when you're on prep or?
No, for sure. I mean, there's a lot of things that you kind of have to either give up or sacrifice. It's not a black and white thing.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna have to maybe make compromise.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, I could probably only do this on the weekends, or I
Yeah.
only got 1 day to do this.
Yeah.
That might not work for the other person. They might say, I need to see you every day. We need to go out 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Shit, I can't do that for you.
Yeah. 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 I think
So
that's
sometimes
the biggest-
saying no will test you, but it shows what kind of discipline you have.
Absolutely. And I have, you know, growing up my whole life, you know, I've been doing this, maybe not just the bodybuilding part, but trying to be in shape, trying to look good.
For sure.
And there's been so many times in my life where people were like, dude, just one shot, just take one shot. Like, one shot's not going to hurt you, right? And you're like, no, you don't understand that one shot can hurt me. And me breaking and saying yes to that is now going to make me say yes to a lot of other things that I
For
normally
sure.
wouldn't say yes to, right?
Right.
So
It's like a trickle down effect.
Yeah.
You know, you do it one time, you do it a couple times, now you're doing it every time.
Yeah.
But then it's like, then how bad do you want it? Because if you're willing to do that easily, that means you probably didn't want your goals bad enough.
Yeah, and I think the guys that really do, and you're one of those guys, it's like you'll sacrifice everything and everything. And then whether it's a girl, no matter what it is, I see you. You come in here, you know, you get after it. I've coached him, so for me, I've never had a check-in where I'm like, you're like, oh, well, I had to do this, or you make some excuse, or oh, I got sick, or whatever it is. There's never an excuse there with you,
Yeah.
right? And I think that's how you know the guys that are going to become professionals and not. There's a reason why you did your first show, you beat everybody. It's because you were a professional throughout the whole thing, and now you're at the national level. and I know you're going to get your pro card. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
Because of how you carry business and how you construct yourself and what you do on a daily basis, right?
And it's consistency too. I mean, like you could do it good for a week, but it's like, what about after that?
Yeah.
Anybody can do it for a week.
Yeah.
But it's the weeks after that, right? And then it gets a little bit. Now that the carbs or the diet changes, then it's like you have to adjust to that.
Yeah.
So slowly but surely you start getting in the trenches, and then it really tests you. Like, do you really want to do this?
Yeah, especially when like Valentine's is tomorrow. You might have a girlfriend that wants to go out.
What about holidays?
Yeah, holidays,
Sometimes
Christmas.
you got to sacrifice those things. And maybe not everyone's prep's the same, but there's some people that they don't have a choice, but they have to prep during those holidays. Mm-hmm. They're going to have to say no to a lot of things.
Yeah, you definitely become a professional at saying no. That's the thing. If you want to be a bodybuilder, you better get really, really good at saying no.
But then you look at your circle of friends, it's like when you say no to them, do they respect that, or are they like, oh, fuck this guy, like we're not even gonna ask him anymore.
Yeah.
He's just not fun to be around.
And I think that's where I've learned, like the guys around me, that's a team, that's my team, right? I have a bunch of guys around me when I was competing, and the only reason I have ever been as successful as I have is because of the team around me. These guys that are helping me do cardio. I had friends that would literally sit there and they're done. They're ready to go off to the rest of their day, and they're sitting there just talking to me while I'm doing my cardio. I have friends or girls that I dated at the time that I'm like, oh, I got to go do an hour. Oh, can I come with you? And they're doing the hour cardio with you outside in the cold. So you have to surround yourself literally with a team of people that are going to be able to help you get there, because you can't do it by yourself. There's no way.
No, it's definitely, and I don't care what anyone says, like, yeah, bodybuilding's an individual sport to a certain extent, but then you have like, you know, your circle that keeps you, like your mental sanity, you know, that keeps you pushing, and like, obviously they're going to be in your corner, but they want to see you win.
Yeah, and I think
so
a lot
of
times,
small steps.
Yeah, the small steps. I think a lot of times what we do is we get in our own heads too, right?
For sure.
And then those are the friends that are like, no, you look great. No, come on, like, you know, they're pushing you in the right direction. Because sometimes we like to get off the road, right? And they're the ones that are putting you right back on. And I think that's what I'm saying is having that team for me. It was the number one reason I got to where I got to, was the surrounding myself with the right people. And even to this day, you know, I own a gym and I'm doing really well, but the team I have around me, that's why I am where I am. It's my cameraman, it's my brother, that's doing all my backside stuff. Like all the people in my life, they all contribute to make me be able to be the best version of myself, right?
100%.
So for you, you know, like I see you have a couple guys that you work out with and they're pushing you, and there's gonna be days where you walk in the gym and you don't feel like working out, right? No. And those are the guys that are gonna have to push you extra that day.
For sure.
So I think that's big too, for sure. The team is a big part of it.
Oh, 100%. I mean, like, go back to sacrifices too. I would say like even some people have like family, you know, and kids. I mean, there's things that you're really gonna have to give up. You may not be able to make it to every single game or pick your kids up from school. Like you're gonna have to sacrifice some things. I don't have to deal with that because I don't have kids. But I can only imagine the excuses that someone would come up with.
Oh my God.
It could be endless.
Yeah.
Right. But it's like, how bad do you want it, and how far are you gonna push it? What are things you're gonna give up?
And as a coach, I could tell you there's certain guys that I coach and I'm like, that guy's going to be successful just because all the little details and things that they do, right? I have guys that do have kids and they still grind just as hard as you don't even know they have kids.
It's impressive.
It's impressive.
Because they never use that as an excuse.
Never. The best guys, I'm telling you, in this sport are the ones that never make excuses for themselves. They are always, you know, trying to push forward, and they don't let anything deter them off the track that they're on. They want it so bad that they're willing to give up anything and sacrifice anything, right? And those are the type of guys, you know, that are going to be able to take it to that level and get their pro card, and they deserve it because they're giving up everything for this, right?
And it's year after year. Because not every year is a guaranteed you're going to get your pro card this year. So sometimes it's like, okay, not this year, but you're still doing the same things you had to do last year in order to get to where you are next year.
Oh yeah, for sure. And like for me, everyone always asks like, are you going to do another show? Like you should compete again, right? And my whole thing is in my head, I told myself like, if I open a gym, I'm never going to do a show again, right? Like that was my thing is like, if I open a gym, I have to give everything to the gym. And that sport is so selfish, right?
It really is.
It's all about you and everything that you want to do. So let's say I didn't own a gym. I can come to the gym, I can work out, I can get my workout in and not have anybody distract me, right?
Yep.
Now, if I come in and work out, guess what? Someone's like, hey, we need you at the front. Someone wants a membership. Someone wants a tour. I got to let go of my workout. I can no longer be selfish, and I have to go talk to them and be able to basically sell a membership or help them out whatever way they need, right? Toilet's messed up. Something in the gym is going bad, I got to be there to be able to fix it and help it, right?
For sure.
Before I was able to be selfish. It was my time. I come to the gym, and if I'm in a good mood, bad mood, whatever, it doesn't matter. I could be in my own corner. I can get after it, and nobody's gonna say anything to me. Now I can't do that.
Yeah.
I can't be in a bad mood because people are gonna be like, "Oh yeah, Bobby, he didn't say hi to me today." Right now, guess what?
Right.
They don't like me, or I'm mean, or something like that. Right? I have to go talk to people. I have to be nice to people. I have to understand it's so much more important. And if I were to compete, you're not going to be nice, and you're not going to be fun to be around. You're going to be cranky, and there's a lot of issues that go along with being in prep. When you haven't eaten, you got to do an hour cardio, you're going to be a little moody. Of
course.
And now all of a sudden you're doing that to someone who's paying you, a client. It's going to be really, really hard.
It really is.
So
yeah, that's a big life-changing moment there.
Saying that though, if I get my shoulder healthy, I want to compete one more time because I do have the help now around me where I feel like, you know, the gym is really in a good place and I'll be able to do that stuff. But early on when people were asking me, I was like, there's just no way.
Yeah.
There's just no way. There's too many things that I have to do. Now I have people working the front desk, people keeping the gym. There's an expectation in the gym now, and it's so much easier for me to kind of get away and start competing. But I would love, we have a posing room, we have the cold plunges. You know, there's so much equipment here that I've never had at any other gym that I would be able to utilize and help.
For sure.
And, you know, I'm glad that even if I'm not competing, guys like you are, my clients are, and you guys have a facility to be able to be at the very top.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that it's a huge difference. I mean, if I was gonna say what it was 2 years ago when I was training, it was at 24, right? Commercial gym.
Yeah.
It's chaos. I don't think you could achieve. I mean, you probably could achieve the same physique, but like at what extent?
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna be waiting a long time. Your workout's probably gonna be, 3 hours long instead of 2 hours long or whatever. You're waiting for equipment, you're waiting for machines. People don't care what you got going on.
Yeah.
Here, they understand it, they get it. They understand like what your goals are. You might share common goals with others, so they get it. Like it's like a community, right?
Yeah.
And you help build each other up. At a commercial gym, they don't care what you got going on.
They don't care.
They will make you wait because they don't care how big or how competitive you are. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the difference, and it just feels better. This actually feels like a home.
Yeah.
You know?
That's awesome.